Hey Polish Freaks, welcome back. I have another review today. I have the Essie Midsummer Collection. So this is the Rose to the Occasion collection. I believe you can only find it at CVS, and I will put a link to that down below. There's 6 creams in this collection. I really love that there's all creams in these latest collections because you guys know how much I love creams. And there's a few standouts in this one as well. The polish that I'm wearing on my nails is one from this collection. It's the blue one called Blooming Friendships. It's so beautiful, and I will talk about that in a minute. But let's get started talking about all the polishes. I usually start with the lightest first, and let's get through them. We have 3 nudes in this collection, which is kind of interesting. I guess they're not like technically considered nudes. They're just kind of lighter brown shades with different tones. And those are ones that I don't reach for too often, but there's one in here that I really love. Let's start with that one. And this one is called In Good Taste. It's a beautiful, warm, taupey brown with a little bit of white underneath it. So it does add a little bit of contrast against your skin, which I really like. And it has a little bit of gray in it too. So it's a little rose, a little gray, a little taupe. I love it. The formula on this one is fantastic too. It's going to build up really, really nicely in 2 coats. I will definitely be reaching for this one in the fall. I think you could wear it in the spring too, but I feel like that's what I'm going to be ready for next when I'm done wearing all these bright neons in the summertime. So it reminded me of a few polishes, and it wasn't like super exact to any of them. So here I compared it to Go Go Geisha, and that's the one I really thought it would be very, very close to. And it is pretty close. If you look at them in dim light, they look almost the same. But if you look closer, you can see that Go Go Geisha is a little bit more purpley, kind of blush toned. And then Topless and Barefoot, that one's close too, but I feel like that one's more of a beige cream. And that is such a good polish. I had to put some thinner in that polish of mine because it's starting to get thick. So it was kind of nice to use this one In Good Taste because it's kind of similar to that one, but the formula was so fantastic. These are all great polishes, by the way, that I'm talking about. And then Keep Branching Out from their spring collection is more brown. And then I also pulled out Mindful Meditation because I thought I would get asked about all these other ones. And it's close too. It has a touch more gray and maybe a little bit lighter. And then Between the Seats, that one's more of a warm gray and lighter too. And Cut It Out has more gray, and that's from the newer collection that I just reviewed. If you didn't see that review, I'll put a link down to it below. That's the Handmade with Love collection, and I really liked quite a few in that collection. So I feel like this is kind of the warmer beige version of Go Go Geisha, and so I really like it. Topless Beach and Go Go Geisha are 2 of my favorite Essie polishes, but this one might kind of squeeze in there too. It's really great. And then we have Hostess with the Mostess, super cute name. It's a peachy shade. It's more of a nude, has a little bit of beige in it, and it's just a little bit muted. It's not as bright as some of the other ones that they've been coming out with recently. It's got a really great formula as well. It's going to be opaque in 2 coats. Sometimes when it dries down though, it looks like you might need 3. I think most of the time you're going to get away with 2 coats, but don't be surprised if you have to do 3 here and there. So definitely going to be doing some comparisons for this. So I compared it to High Class Affair, and that has a similar color tone. It's just a little bit lighter, and Your Catch is the closest, but that's also just a touch lighter. And So Gifted is more of a bright peach, and that was one of my favorites from the Handmade with Love collection that I just reviewed. And I didn't put in Spring Awakening from the new spring collection because that one's more pink toned. So nothing is exact to this, but they do have a lot of different variations of these kind of peach colors that are a little bit more nude. So I'll let you decide if you want to get this one. And then we have Centerpiece of Attention, and this one's really interesting. It's like a beige. It has quite a bit of green in the base, and so it's a little bit unusual, a little bit different. It's not enough green to make it kind of khaki. It's kind of somewhere in between. I feel like I wanted to describe this as a caramel color. It's just a really interesting caramel beige, or maybe you describe it as a sandy beige. But anyway, I don't know if I describe it as that because it does have a little bit of green in it. So it's really interesting and quite unique. This does have a great formula. It's going to be opaque in 2 coats. So I just pulled out colors that I thought were the closest in different lines because Essie didn't really have anything super close to this. I pulled out Keep Branching from their spring collection. That one's more gray. I just thought it was good to show it compared to that one. And then OPI Feeling Frisco is more nude and has less green in it. And then I really thought it would be very close to Caramel Budino from Olive and June, but that one's a little bit different there too. I would say that caramel polish is maybe a caramel at a higher boiling point. because it's a little bit darker and a little bit richer. So this one's interesting. I don't know, maybe it's kind of like a latte color too. I don't know how often I'm going to reach for it just because I don't wear shades like this very often, but it's kind of cool. Lots of kind of nude, orange, warm colors that Essie's coming out with lately that I don't really wear very much, but they're sure pulling in a lot. And then we have Buzzworthy Bash, and this is a really orange leaning mustard yellow. So it's quite golden. It's got a really good formula. It's going to be opaque in 2 coats. I don't reach for these very often. Once in a while in the fall, I will wear mustard color, but that's about it. But it does have a little bit of a brightness to it, so I can see people wearing it in the summer, and you might really, really like this one because it's unique and it's got a good formula. So let's talk about this comparison. So I compared it to Caftan, and that one's more brown leaning. I've been feeling like I've pulled these same ones out for comparisons recently. And then Fall for NYC is more of a pink tinted orange and not as yellow, which kind of surprised me. And then Coconuts for You is more nude and more of a softer shade. But someone's gonna love it. And I probably will pull this out in the fall. And then we have the one I'm wearing on my nails right now, and this is Blooming Friendships. It's a beautiful blue with a lot of white in the base. It did have kind of a acrylish formula, but it does have a little bit of brightness to it. Still has some white in the base, and it's going to build up in 2 coats. You might need 3 though. I would say 2 to 3 coats depending on your application. And I know I'm going to get asked about how it compares to all the other polishes that like this that Essie has. And I'm happy to show you that it is a little bit different, but there's a lot that are really close. Okay, so let's look at those. So we've got Blossom Dandy. That's a touch more green and not as bright as this one, which kind of surprised me. And then Strike of Positano is a softer shade and more green. And then the Mint Candy Apple, which is the current version, is more green than this, but it has the same brightness to it. So I feel like this polish, and I'll show you the other blue version of Mint Candy Apple, but I feel like it's kind of in between both of those. Okay, so here we are. Here is the Mint Candy Apple, the blue version, which is really hard to find. And if you have it, you have it. If you don't, you probably never will. But it's exactly the same as Blue La La. And you might not have that one either. That was a limited edition polish, but I love those both too. But those are both more brighter and more blue. So like I said, I feel like this one's kind of in between the old Mint Candy Apple and the current Mint Candy Apple. And then Flight of Fantasy is a little bit softer and not the same, but I just wanted to pull that one out because it's kind of recent. So it's a little bit different, but it is kind of along the same lines as all the polishes that they have, but it's really good, you guys. I feel like I like this one because sometimes it looks more green leaning and sometimes it looks more blue, so I feel like it's got a good balance, but it's a good one. I don't know. I was really excited to wear it, so that says a lot. I'll let you decide if you want to get that one because there's so many like it, but the formula is really, really good. And then we have Rose to the Occasion, and I love these yummy, bright pinks that are a little bit strawberry leaning. This is so good. It's got quite a bit of white in the base, and so it's just bright and fun, and it's a little bit coral. And yes, there's quite a few shades like this one too, but this one just stands out on my hands so much. And I don't know if it's just because it's fresh and new and fun, but I really, really loved it. And the formula is so, so good, you guys. It's gonna build up in 2 coats, and it's just good. Love it. Okay, so I compared it to Peach Daiquiri, and it's almost exact to this. I feel like Peach Daiquiri is maybe just a little bit darker and doesn't have that kind of brightness underneath it, but the color tones are pretty much the same. And then No Shade Here, which is another one of my summer favorites to wear because it's so bright and fun, is a touch more pink, but it does have that same brightness to it. So if you love that one, you're going to love this one. I feel like this one is just a little bit more warmer than that. And then Romanza Resort Romanza has a touch of raspberry in it. So I thought that would give you a good idea of spectrum. I could have done a million other comparisons, but a lot of them were quite a bit more red or more orange. And so I feel like this one is kind of unique. I feel like it's the darker version of Cute as a Button. And so they are different, but I feel like this is the darker version of that. And so it's so good. I can't wear it. I had a hard time deciding whether I should wear this polish or this one. And I think this one's going on next. But there's still some polishes from the Movin' and Groovin' collection that I really want to wear. I've been working in the yard so much and I haven't really had time to wear polish, just do swatches basically. And so I'm almost done planting some plants, and so I can't wait to get back into having nail polish on every day. So I like this one, as you can tell. So here are my favorites. I've got the Rose to the Occasion that I just talked about, the Blooming Friendships, and then In Good Taste, which is that nude. So these are my favorite from the collection. I think I left all the kind of peachy nude shades, which I'm not really too excited about right now. So what are your thoughts on this collection? How do you think it is compared to their last collection, Handmade with Love? Let me know if you're going to pick any up, and I'd just be curious to see how you guys like it. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you guys next time. Okay, bye.